Hey guys, this is Joe. Today I want to introduce you to our partner Vanta. Achieving ISO 27001 or SOC 2 compliance can unlock major growth for your company and build customer trust, but the process can be time intense and costly. Vanta automates compliance, getting your audit ready quickly and saving up to 85% of associated costs. And Vanta scales with your business, helping you enter new markets. Join 7,000 global companies like Atlassian, Flow Health, and Quora that trust Vanta. Claim 20% off Vanta at vanta.com/startupradio. That's vanta.com, spelled vanta.com/startupradio.
Welcome to Startuprad.io, your podcast and YouTube blog covering the German startup scene with news, interviews, and live events.
Hello and welcome everybody. This is Joe from Startuprad.io, your startup podcast and YouTube blog from Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. Today I have guests again here with me, the brothers who founded one of the first medical cannabis startups here in Germany called Cansativa. Hey guys, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. I was taking a look into, so to say, my archives, and our first interview was published in April 2020. So we'll soon get to what has happened since. But first, I would like to thank our enablers. This interview was made possible by Invest in Hessen and Startupraven.com. If you'd like to learn more about them, you can go down here in the show notes and have a look. Guys, I still remember you guys are brothers, and I still remember a lot of very funny stories from our first interview. For example, there was a spider crawling over a sensor that almost locked down half of the city of Frankfurt. And I remember that one of you had to excuse themselves in a very reputable law firm to go home and receive a big delivery of cannabis. That is stuff that I remember. But can you tell our audience who maybe never heard or seen you, who you are and what you did before and what you're doing now in the company?
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And especially the spider story, that's really amazing. From my background, I'm a Benedict. I studied industrial engineering and management, worked for several years in strategy consulting, and founded Cansativa in 2017 together with my brother Jacob. I'm responsible for all commercial matters within the company.
Yeah, thank you very much for having us. And yeah, I'm very happy to give like a very short overview of my background. So I have a background in law, studied law, and I actually was the guy that took his lunch breaks to get some cannabis delivered. Feels very far away now that I actually worked at a law firm. Today at Cansativa, I'm still a bit into the legal and regulatory stuff. So my responsibility in the management is being reported by our head of legal, head of regulatory affairs, head of quality. So everything which is relating to operations and the compliance and regulatory dimension of the business. And so very nice stories and topics that you were relating to. I think there's a lot of new and good stuff that we can talk about.
My personal experience living here in and around Frankfurt for quite some time now, I can at least say that from my personal experience, there was no false alarm locking down half of Frankfurt from you guys. Would you agree to that?
Yes, definitely. So we moved our facility to Felden-Walldorf, which is a small city near the Frankfurt airport, and it is in a more industrial area. We have some false alarms from time to time, especially when we have some works done at the systems. For example, we have now a significantly bigger safe room, a strong room, and once you finish all those construction works, they have to put all the new parameters into the systems, and you get false alarms every second week. But it is something that you can work along with the police, and it's not that unique and not that new anymore, so that they actually shut down the streets and send the SWAT team. So yeah, it's a bit day-to-day business today.
I see. When you've been talking about a strong room, what I had in mind was something like a big vault that is in the basement of a bank or something close to that.
Yes, so something very close to that. It's not in the basement because this would be quite annoying for our logistics team. It is on a ground level, but basically the same that you can expect. So very strong walls made of steel and concrete, camera surveillance everywhere, and actually what is required if you handle narcotics. And still, even if we are talking about legalization, cannabis today, at least those products that we handle are regulated as narcotics. And yes, that's why we put them into a huge vault.
That also brings us to our next topic, because you said they are regulated like narcotics. You can get them on prescription from a doctor for certain indications. Not going to go into that. That's the area of the doctors. But basically we're here today because you've been talking about the medical cannabis market, and we'll soon talk about your experiences there. But basically there is a new coalition in Germany under Olaf Scholz, and within their contract. So there are three parties getting together to form a government here in Germany, and in the contract where they got together, they put in legalization of cannabis for recreational use. So that's the main point we will be talking about here. But can you share a little bit your experience in a short wrap up? How was it that cannabis became legal for medical use here in Germany?
Yeah, absolutely. So the market kind of grew really rapidly and very significantly. In 2017, we had roundabout a medical cannabis flowers market of 1.7 metric tons. This grew to close to 10 metric tons in 2020, and for the last year, 2021, we are talking already about like 12.5 up to 15 metric tons. This is huge. For this year, we expect even more, probably 15 or even up to 20 metric tons. This is a significant addressable market, but compared to the recreational market, which is, depending on different estimations, even 400 or 800 metric tons big, it's rather small.
I was just trying to find where what that may be in US values, because they're still using very, very strange values here, but I could not find it right now. But 12 metric tons, that's quite a lot. How big is your market share in that?
So we have a significant market share. This is due to our very special and exclusive role as the leading partner and the exclusive partner of the so-called BfArM. So to say, we are the exclusive partner of the Cannabis Agency, and we are therefore the exclusive distributor of cannabis from domestic cultivation. And cannabis from domestic cultivation itself is 2.6 metric tons on an annual base, which is a significant portion of like a total market. And we have this exclusivity for the next 4 years, summing up to 10.4 tons, metric tons over this 4 years. And obviously, in addition to our domestic cannabis that we are bringing into the pharmacies on a daily basis, we are also having the biggest and the leading product portfolio of imported medical cannabis flowers. Here we're talking about 30 suppliers, 15 different country origins, which is significant, and therefore we would consider ourselves always as the leading cannabis platform in Germany.
I see. And for everybody from the US, 1 metric ton is 2,205 pounds. I found it eventually. And you guys have been with that approach pretty successful. I've been looking up and you guys raised something a little bit above 20 million US dollars in VC money. You even made it into mainstream media because one of your investors, the lead investors in your Series B funding, was Casa Verde. For everybody who doesn't know that, that's the investment vehicle of Snoop Dogg. But I do believe he also believes in you and in what is coming. Talking a little bit about the future here. As we said, there is a contract, there is a will to make a law. Even the draft of law is not here yet. So you're way ahead of the curve with that. And, there is an expectation I read in the media that the first bill for a discussion should be available to lawmakers towards the end of 2022. So that means even the most ambitious goal would be that the law comes into force sometime around summer 2023. And as we discussed, there's a lot of regulatory add-ons to that, to a law here in Germany. So you could be looking at sometime fall or winter 2023 with that. Would that be approximately your experience how this develops, Jacob?
Yeah, I think you're very right in this assumption, and I think I mean there are always some influences that we cannot fully assess. You know what happens with Corona over autumn. What happens with the Ukraine crisis? But the timeline that you just outlined is exactly what we can expect if the lawmakers put their enough focus on this important law. And what we expect is that by even September or October, they have the initial first draft bill, and then this will be passed on to the government once the government is aligned. And I think the chances are here that this will be quite fast because all of the three parties that are constituting the government are in favor of the legalization, and there's not much to discuss for them. We see that it is very likely that we can get a bill to be passed on to the Parliament and our Federal Council, which is the Bundesrat, in which the 16 different states have to vote on the law as well. Will be quite fast. And if we manage to get the law passed by summer next year, it is very likely that we have the frameworks installed to be ready for sale later or late next year or early 2024. However, what will be the challenge, and this is where we are coming in, is bringing in the product, creating the infrastructure for the retail stores, and making this more theoretical approach of having a law to be transformed into a working business. And I think this will be the challenge, and everyone is very, very much all set to start working on the supply chains, on the infrastructure, once we have a bit more clarity on how the lawmaker intends to make the system work.
That will be actually my question, because I would now be going into talking about how you guys are envisioning how the future could look like. For example, you can only buy cannabis in dedicated stores, maybe in tobacco stores, maybe only in pharmacies, and so on and so forth. But sorry, sometimes I'm thinking pretty strange. What do you guys tell your family you're actually doing? Well, I import cannabis is something you don't usually write on your LinkedIn profile or on your Tinder profile, right?
So the good thing about like our family is that they are already used to that we are selling cannabis for years already, and sometimes it's pretty funny if you like think about it that we are probably one of the biggest cannabis dealers in Germany. However, our family is like really supportive of all that, but mainly because we look at this also as a very professional business, and we also look at this as a unique chance in history and a unique opportunity to legalize a product and also to just give access to so many people to a product that at the moment they only can access to and consume in a illegal illicit framework. And here we believe in doing the right thing at the right point in time, as we did 5 years ago with our focus on medical cannabis patients, helping them to get access to a medication, to a therapy that really helps them. And now it's about like helping also consumers to get high quality products in a well thought through legal framework of legal cannabis.
Mm. We do have one country that was pretty popular in Europe, especially for travels, because it's the Netherlands. The Dutch, they had a legalization of even recreational cannabis way ahead of Germany. And then there used to be special cafes where you could consume that. And my understanding is that at one point they turned into membership clubs where they have to know you. You have to be a member in order to be there and consume cannabis. What are you guys seeing, or what is your expectation? What will happen here in Germany? Will we start with a very tight regulation and then find the first get the first experiences and then maybe later on broaden this, or do you expect something like really easy low touch regulation and they'll see where they basically need to draw the lines?
So in our understanding, politics want to have a broad legalization, so end to end. And compared to the Netherlands, they don't want to keep it or reduce it to decriminalization. So if you have a look at the Netherlands, it is allowed to buy the product at a coffee shop. It is allowed to consume, but the supply chain that produces and delivers the products into the coffee shops, this is not regulated. And our lawmaker clearly intends to have a full-fledged legalization and decriminalization of cannabis, so that we have a stigma-free and safe and simple supply chain. However, this still will be highly regulated because it is a substance that has not only positive effects. It is the same for other substances such as nicotine, caffeine, alcohol that people take. It can be something that you consume and are totally safe, but there's a degree of consumption that is not good for the health, and that's why the lawmaker still wants to pose a regulation around it. But what we expect, and this is clearly addressed by politics, is that we have dispensaries, so that there will be a special store that you can buy cannabis in, get customer support, get some information on safer use, on first-time use, so that we will create a system in which people, even if they are first-time consumers, can have an experience that leads them into a safe and good consummation of the product. And I think this is unique about how Germany looks at it, to create a simple and self regulated system that only uses regulation to the extent necessary and is not over regulating the supply chain to really have a competitive advantage towards the black market, because it is still one of the main targets to be to fight the black market that is very strong here in Germany.
Associated with a lot of crime and all of this stuff. They not only fight crime, they also fight money laundering. That way I found very interesting. Benedict, you are more the numbers guy. What do you expect in terms of market size when you're looking into that future? And by the way, Jacob, you really, really made me smile because when you said, yeah, consumer support, I was wondering, will there be a hotline for stoners? Sorry, non-professional, totally fine. Check your own thoughts.
Actually, I mean, creative idea. Why not? But that's definitely something we need to look at this once we have like a outlined regulatory framework. But when it comes to the numbers and figures, there are many and different estimations on the illegal market. So you can look at studies from like very well-known universities. They would come up with a market estimation of 400 metric tons to give you a bit of a taste what this could be in euros. At a price of 10 euros per gram, we're talking about a 4 billion euros market, which is round about 4.5 billion US dollars. Other studies and other estimations, they actually show that the market is even as big as 800 metric tons. So we're talking about 8 billion euros. This is huge, but with a population of 80 million people in Germany, it's not that huge because if you look into the Canadian market, significantly less people live there, and the market over there, round about 4 years after legalization of adult use, so recreational cannabis, is also around 4 billion Canadian dollars big. So this is a massive opportunity just for the German market itself. But what we also expect is that the German market, that's just the start and the beginning for the whole European market, for the EU, and we really expect that there will be a certain domino effect happen. And then we're talking about another multiple of this addressable market, probably even up and north of 60 or maybe 70 billion euros in the long run annually.
That is pretty cool. And for everybody who listened to the medical cannabis area, that would be 40 to 80 times what we're having right now in terms of legal medical market. Honestly, you talked about you can import legally cannabis for medical use. I assume there will be legal import for recreational use as well. Which countries are actually going to grow that? And do you expect when Germany, when it really pops, when it goes like crazy, that there will be problems in the supply chain?
Yeah, so first of all, I may kick it off. So key supplying countries as of now for the medical market are Canada, Denmark, Portugal, Spain, even Uruguay, Netherlands play a role. So those countries, they have a certain, let's say, experience in having cultivation and manufacturing sites for pharmaceutical grade cannabis. Many of those companies already have a recreational strategy in place. So obviously, those are also countries where you have quite a huge industry and economy that is willing to export product into the German market. And we believe this experience, this expertise is definitely something that those companies can leverage and can use in a future recreational framework where we as a German importing company can be a very, very strong partner to bring high quality products into a also legal market. However, there are definitely some regulatory hurdles that need to be tackled. It's not an easy game to trade cannabis around the globe in a legal system, because normally also those countries that wish to export recreational cannabis, they need to more or less also adapt certain regulations that this is allowed. And on our side, Germany also needs to allow that cannabis imports are possible. So there's still a lot of work to be done on different levels. However, we are believing that it must be a global economy, a global supply chain, because growing in a country where we do not have so much sun, where we have high labor costs, where we have high electricity costs, growing cannabis in a country like Germany is probably not the solution to supply 800 metric tons on an annual base. This is probably something that's not possible. And we believe a key success factor are global trades. Maybe this is even a European huge possibility, opportunity to create additional industry, additional possibilities for people to work and so on.
Benedict, you also made me smile when you said there are big hurdles to legal import of cannabis to Germany. I think the illegal importers also have some trouble. That is now understood. So you guys also can import a lot, of course, only legal. And the question is now for me, how you guys are positioning yourself. You want to be the importer and distributor in Germany and looking in the future, maybe also into the countries in Europe that legalize recreational use of cannabis?
Yeah, so we enable cannabis. That's like our overall goal. We want to make cannabis available for everyone, simple and safe. And how do we want to achieve that? We are building the largest cannabis retail platform, and at the same time, we are building the leading B2B marketplace for cannabis. And what does this like in particular mean? I would suggest that I hand over here to Jacob to give some more details on those two key measures.
Yeah, the difficult things are always stuff for lawyers. I see.
No, this would be like I think royal pain if the lawyers were to explain all those stuff, because we're always too complicated. We talk always we talk too much. So let me try to reduce it to what is relevant. So operating a B2B marketplace is something that is crucial in a high friction transaction based and regulated sector, because you need someone who operates the trust between the vendors and the customers. And what we're doing today in the medical ecosystem is something that is even more regulated, because you have to check all the licenses, have to check GMP and GDP compliance and so on. So we operate a system in which whoever wants to sell and whoever is part of the pharmaceutical supply chain, and on the other side, a pharmacy can go to our marketplace and they can be safe. They know that we take care of all those complicated things around qualification, validation, and so on. And we will apply this principle to the recreational cannabis market as well, because we see that we still will be in a regulated industry. It will be very important to be fast in making business. It is very important to be fast in moving the product, but it will be very important to be compliant as well. And as the pharmaceutical industry seems to be quite a closed shop, we want to bring in our experience from this most regulated industry to be a real enabler that takes care of democratizing the industry and providing a solution where it will be easy. It should be easy as opening a Shopify e-commerce shop to engage in this industry, because you have a partner, and this partner will be us, that takes care of all the regulated and complicated things. And in a market that will be highly fragmented, because we will see that there will be many different brands, many different products, many different manufacturers, and even more point of sales, even more retailers, it is very important that you have one partner that takes care of operating a marketplace that seamlessly integrates the supply chain between vendors and the retailers. First point. Second point is the same challenges that you have operating a wholesale or import or manufacturing business in a regulated industry is operating a retail store. So imagine that you wanted to open a retail store that trades a regulated substance. You would need to apply for the license. You would need to establish quality management systems. For medical cannabis, there will be some prevention work. You will have to draft social concepts. You have to take care of where to get the products, documentation, warehousing, logistics, and so on. And we want to create a platform, a system, a modular system that will make things very easy for you to focus on what is important for you, getting the product, selling the product, consulting and serving your customers, and very much engaging in a new industry, but not doing all those pioneer works on regulation and processes that are important, but that are replicable for many different shop owners. And we want to enable the retail store being the operating backbone and providing turnkey plug-and-play solutions for everyone who wants to engage in this industry.
My understanding is now that you have something like a Shopify shop where you can order from different producers via your platform as a retail store somewhere here in Germany. My question would be, since it's a highly regulated product on both ends, does it have to go through your central warehouse like a hub and spoke system and go from there into the retail store? Would that be the setup?
This is one of the key USPs that we offer today for our pharmaceutical clients, because you would need to operate this infrastructure anyhow. As we expect that cannabis as a legalized recreational product hopefully will be less regulated on the part of warehousing and all those stuff, because it would be ridiculous if we had to put cannabis into a vault everywhere we have it. So this would be a bit more flexible, so that you either can have your own infrastructure, that you can choose one of the maybe third-party logistics that you have. So our system is designed that we can operate in every different approach. So own integrated warehouses from the vendors, fulfillment by Cansativa, which is always the preferred solution in the medical system, because it is more convenient for the pharmacies. It will be more convenient for the retailers, because they get consolidated shipments from just one party, and this makes things easier. I think we will be very competitive on what you have to spend for logistics, so that it will make sense to go and have fulfillment done by us. But especially in the post-legalization world, there will be so many products that even if we doubled or quadrupled, or even if we had a 10x on our warehousing space, we couldn't make it in the current setup. So we definitely will be open for other third-party logistics partners.
I see. And that also sounds like you would be open to talk to new investors to take on that new wave of consumption that you see on the horizon.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, we've raised quite some significant capital over the last few years. Also, recently we raised another 15 million US dollars. However, as you also described earlier in our talk, we are at this really tipping point also from the legislation process, and we are prepared when it comes to our plans. We are prepared to execute, and for all this execution, there is again the possibility that investors can invest into Cansativa, and we are always looking for great partners for this massive opportunity in the next few years.
That also sounds like you guys are currently hiring.
That's also absolutely true. So we actually had quite some growth over the last few months. As of now, we are over 50 very talented and highly skilled folks in our company. However, there are always some jobs that we're looking for, again, new and highly talented people to join our company. And this can be checked on our website, which is cansativa-group.com, and there are definitely exciting opportunities for everyone.
Everybody who's listening to this or watching this on YouTube or any other app, go down here in the show notes. There will be a link to our Medium blog. If you cannot find us because you're listening to this on one of our partner radio station, go to www.medium.com/startuprad-io, and there you will also be able to find the blog post. The very last questions, because this interview is sponsored by Invest in Hessen, I would be curious to know, why are you currently located here? May we say Frankfurt, even though Moorfelden-Walldorf is a different city, but it's exactly next to the airport Frankfurt. So for everybody from outside, it doesn't make any difference.
So maybe very, very important that even today our even bigger office is again in Frankfurt. So we have office space in Frankfurt again. It's where we started, then we moved to Merfelden. Now we are back in Frankfurt. We love the city. We love the open-minded culture. We love how the city itself is focusing on enhancing startup culture. They have many different formats where you can meet up, meet other founders, get into connections, communication, and I think that it is very much becoming a ecosystem and a very buzzing spot that I especially can only motivate people to come to build their startup here and connect with a very buzzing startup hub in the middle of Germany.
And my last final question: if you would have wishes, not only one, maybe two or three, addressing directly to the decision makers, what would it be?
Yeah, so maybe first of all, having the possibility and opportunity to talk about cannabis frank and free on, let's say, state level, cities level, and so on, that we're just, having the opportunity to talk about that. That's very important, I think. Second item, and this is more like a request on the federal level or even maybe on the European level, the framework for VC investments in Germany compared, for example, to the US. There are things that should and may be improved, and initiatives to accelerate potential improvements here would be probably a very, very good thing to actually grow the startup ecosystem, not only in Germany, but also in Europe.
There's actually not more I have to add. I would say thank you very much, guys. It was a pleasure talking to you. We're now recording for more than 37 minutes. Thank you very much for your time. It was a pleasure having you here, and see you again in a few years.
See you again. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
That was awesome. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
That's all, folks. Find more news, streams, events, and interviews at www.startuprad.io. Remember, sharing is caring.